We're showing the flight clear as well. Good work. Proceed to next station.
Target is at bearing 240.
Roger, Starburst. A big U-turn with pleasure. What's Unicorn status?
Unicorn flight is right on schedule, Gargoyle. How about you?
I'm late? Somehow. So, are you looking forward to at least 50 miles of backtracking? I can't say that I do. Right, oh. Our plane is coated by a very expensive paint that absorbs radio waves. How on earth does it do that? Where does the energy go? Apparently it turns into heat. Well, everything does in this world. Makes me wonder if at any point we'll see missiles homing in on objects that heat up suspiciously when painted by radar beams. Anyway, for this absorbent coating to work, it needs to fulfill certain criteria. One condition is that it has to reach a certain fraction of the target wavelength in thickness. 1/2, 1/4, depends on the material. If it doesn't, the coating does bugger all. Speaking of doing bugger all, where the hell are Gargoyle 3 and 4? Right, the thickness requirement is the reason the application of the coating to the plane is a long and expensive process demanding great care, constant testing and robots. In fact, any maintenance performed on those 5th generation fighters has to end with them being scanned by a radar to find possible coating defects introduced during repairs. This gets pricey. This magical absorbent paint works on modern planes because many modern radars operate in centimeter range at most. So a few centimeters of coating in the vital areas are good enough to shield the plane from many prying eyes. The catch is a number of older radars operate in decimeter or meter range with wavelength reaching tens of meters. You can't put that much paint onto your plane and expect it to fly. So on paper, radars of greater wavelength can operate more efficiently at detecting stealth aircraft. That is until you remember that you never get a clear picture from those radars, they're hardly able to identify contacts and even pick out valid targets on all the clutter and noise generated by, say, reflections from the clouds.
Gargoyle flight, we show you at waypoint 5. Target is at bearing 180.
Copy waypoint, Starburst. Lost my right side MFD.
How? Is this the game's statement on the random software failures of the F-22? Also, I'm quite certain the dialog won't change even if you fly this mission on an A-10. I'm not crazy enough to test it though. What was I going on about? Oh yes, radar wavelength. It's what allowed an old SA-3 of all things to bring down an F-117 in the Balkans in 1999. Whoever was planning the Nighthawk's operations was an idiot who firmly believed that the F-117 was invisible and that the Serbian air defenses were obsolete and worthless. But the commander of one air defense battalion in the area was a clever bastard. From different sightings and the timing of attacks, they were able to figure out the most likely route taken by the sneaky bombers and waited for one, because they were predictable. Then they got the return on one of the longer wavelength radars the SA-3 has, maybe even modified it to use at a lower frequency, and launched a salvo when the plane was close. The SA-3, just like the SA-2, uses radio command guidance for its ordnance, meaning an operator on the ground can make a missile home in on the target even when the system cannot maintain a steady lock onto it. And it worked most beautifully, bringing down the plane with a close explosion. I believe my Raptor's altitude at the moment can serve as an indicator for my level of boredom. Both are steadily rising. The stars look not so random in places, but I can't recognize any patterns. So, how long is it to the next waypoint?
Gargoyle flight, we show you at waypoint 6. Target is at bearing 105.
Roger nav data, Starburst. Thanks. Let's talk to Frank about seeing if they can figure out how to put more chaff in these things. Or maybe they could just have B-52s or whatever drop tons of it just before we go in.
Unicorn flight, we show you at waypoint 3.
Copy waypoint, Starburst.
Has Stu been drinking since we took off? The stash is in the Raptor boxes, isn't it? Anyway, so I said 50 miles of backtracking. Sorry, I meant 100 miles. I'll keep climbing, that's all I can do. The reported ceiling for the F-22 is 60,000 feet. Since I'm close, I might as well check what happens if you get there. I've never tried that before this mission. What hemisphere are we in? Man, imagine this on an A-10. At least the Raptor is fast, although at this point everyone has pretty much stopped developing for the highest speed, and barely reaching Mach 2 is the most they expect from a fighter. Well, here it is.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
It doesn't handle like we don't have enough speed. It feels like the engines died inside.
Warning, warning. Warning, warning.
Right, now we know what hitting the ceiling looks like here. What should I do now, I wonder? Accelerate? Wait a minute, is it just me or does the game not take into account that the speed of sound drops as the air density decreases? The HUD shows Mach 0.4 at 200 knots at 55,000 feet. Let me find a calculator online. Fascinating. Okay, 200 knots at 55,000 feet in standard atmosphere is Mach 0.9. Does the game show any signs of us being near the sound barrier? Of course not. You've let me down, Energy Airforce. Anyway, let's use the altitude to see how fast we can make it go. The game claims the top speed of the Raptor is Mach 1.8 plus, which is a strange way to define a maximum. We still have an obscenely large quantity of fuel on board. I don't even care about arriving at the fucking waypoint on time anymore. I want out. There isn't even any wingman chatter for this crazy run. I suppose you could justify it by saying this is a stealth mission and we need to maintain radio silence, but we repeatedly broke radio silence right over the enemy position, so this excuse doesn't work.
Unicorn flight, we show you at waypoint 4.
Unicorn 1.
Of course, Unicorn Flight had a much shorter route, so they are back already, even though I'm speeding. Bastards. Almost Mach 2.
Gargoyle flight, we show you at waypoint 7. Target is at bearing 015.
Roger that, data server. Thanks. Cargo cleared on final and heading in.
I'm not landing at Mach 2, obviously. Where am I? Right, being at 5,000 meters give or take is counterproductive to landing on the surface of the planet. I can't even see where I'm landing with all this fog. I should use this engine to make Silent Hill the flight sim.
Unicorn flight, we show you at waypoint 5.
Roger server. Unicorn 1.
The jagged edges on every door from the gun port to the landing gear on this plane are also a stealth measure.
Overspeed.
Oh shit. Yeah, by avoiding large flat or round surfaces on the door edges, they prevent them from reflecting too much energy in one direction too. There's a home plate.
Tower, gargoyle. 3 down and locked. Gargoyle, cleared to land runway 36. Winds light and variable. Tower, gargoyle checking in. Gargoyle, we have you in sight. Continue inbound.
This warning screen is confusingly sensitive. I hope we don't hit the Cougar flight. This landing is turning out stressful between the Cougars and the enemy flight who can probably see them.
Gargoyle, we have you in sight. Continue inbound. Report 3 miles with the gear.
I'll keep the stealth mode on. The traffic controller is probably gonna kill me after the landing. Yes, the American raiders can't find their Raptors either. So how does one direct stealth fighters during landings? So, AI pilots, does anyone have any last-minute complaints about damaged aircraft? It's almost over.
Gargoyle 1, check gear.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button by accident. Again. I like the way the F-22 brakes on the ground. It uses everything. Pop open the canopy and stick your hands in the air, why don't you? Yeah, it works. I've recorded a short replay for skipping music, and it works. This is the track from the Hornet video. I'm going to cut out a huge chunk of the replay because fuck this mission. I'll just show the takeoff and the attack run. Remember I said the developers didn't really know what the SDB was going to look like in the end. This is not what an actual SDB is like. The real thing has funny short foldable wings that make it a relatively tiny gliding bomb. Not just a bomb with foldable fins, everyone can do that. That sound wasn't even close. And after that I went ahead and popped some AMRAAMs into fulcrums in case you forgot. It was ages ago. We'll actually get a better view of those weapon ports in action in the next mission. The first one was a kill, I think. And no one noticed. Or maybe they didn't like that guy. He evaded. They do that a lot in the Force scenario. No. What the fuck, game? This isn't even a choice. I'm not flying this interdiction against tactical missile batteries. That's gotta be like, what, 400 miles with a return trip? Fuck that. We're going on the intercept mission, loaded with as many AMRAAMs as an F-22 can carry. External stores included. Stealth be damned, it's going to be a glorious massacre. Next time.